Welcome to Joydella Fashion Guide. In today's video, we are going to be looking at the difference between the 360 degrees and 180 degrees flare. Flare is a circle. We usually make use of a flare around our waist, around our wrist, or our elbow, or around our knee. Now, in today's video, we want to be looking at the difference, how to calculate the 360 degree flare and how to calculate the 180 degree flare. And also I'll be showing you on a fabric how to fold it. The folding is different. First of all, a 360 degree flare, 360 degree flare is also known as a full circle. It is also known as a full circle. And from the formula of calculating circle circumference, we have 2 pi r. And after calculating, we discover that radius or r is circle circumference over 6.28. Now we got this 6.28 by multiplying 2 by pi. So this circle circumference equals to 2 pi r. If you make r the subject, you will have circle circumference alone, and then you now have circle circumference over 2 pi, and pi is a constant, which is 3.14, and by the time you multiply by 2, you are going to have 6.28. so that is how we arrive at this formula. That is how we arrive at this. So just know that when you want to cut a full circle, you are going to be dividing the circle circumference. You are going to be dividing it by 6.28. Whereas for a 180 degree flare, 180 degree flare is known as half circle. Is known as half circle. When you divide 360 by 2, you are going to have 180. So if you have a full circle like this, this is a full circle. Half of this is what we are calling half circle. So from our formula, if a full circle is radius equals to circle circumference divided by 6.28, and we have said that this circle circumference is the same thing as, if for example, if you are going to use the flare around the waist, then it becomes your waist circumference. Waist circumference over 6.28. That is the radius. If you are going to use it around your wrist, the wrist circumference, you will be divided by the wrist circumference. If it is around your knee, you will be divided by the knee circumference. So whatever you are dividing with, that is the circumference you are going to be writing here. So if a full circle gives us this, then what will a half circle be? A half circle will simply be, since a full circle, by the time you divide into 2, one part is 180, another part 180, and we are dividing by 2. It means that this formula, we can divide it by 2, that is radius equals to the circle circumference over 6.28 divided by half. And if you are going to do this from mathematics, you have circle circumference over 6.28 times, you change it 2 over 1. So this 2 will now divide this 6.28, and we now have 3.14. So the half circle, the formula is r equals to circle circumference over 3.14. So that is the difference between the full circle, which is 360 degree, and 180 degree flare. So just know that when you want to cut a full circle, you are going to be dividing wherever you want to place that flare. You're going to be dividing it by 6.28. In the example we are going to be looking at shortly, we are looking at waist circumference. That means we'll be dividing the waist circumference by 6.28. And then if it is half circle that I want to cut, we'll be dividing the waist circumference by 3.14. So let's look at how the radius will differ. Both of them cannot have the same radius. So let's look at an example. If we are working with a waist 36 and length of flare 8 inches. From our example, we say that if you are cutting a full circle, we say that we use the waist divided by 6.28. So 36 divided by 6.28 is going to give us 5.73. So on the tape, I've taught us how to read the tape. On the tape, this is 5, this is 5.5, and the next part is 0.25. So if you add 5.5 and now add 0.25, you are going to have 5.75. So it is easy to mark this on the tape than this. So we'll be making use of 5.75. So this is our tape. This is 5 and this is half, and then this one is the quarter, which is 0.25. So we'll be adding, that is where we are going to be marking on the tape. So that means to get how we are going to fold the fabric, we add 5.75 to fold the fabric. We add 5.75 plus the length of flare, which is 8, and which is 13.75. So you can approximate that to 14. So your fabric can be 14 inches, by 14 inches to be able to fold it. I'll be showing us shortly how to fold it. But meanwhile, let's quickly look at the half circle. Now for the half circle, this same waist 36, because it's half circle, half of 6.28 is 3.14, and by the time we divide that, we're going to have 11.46, and the closest to that, if you are going to read it on the tape, this is 11. The closest to that will be 11.5. 11.5. Okay, that will be the closest. 11.5, which is 11 and a half. So if you are going to fold your fabric, it will be 11.5 plus the length of the flare, which is 8, and that gives us 19.5. So you can actually fold on 20. Okay, so let's quickly look at how to fold our fabric. Welcome back. So here is our fabric. If you are going to fold a full circle, in order not to waste your fabric, what you do is to measure. We have said that you are using 14. You just measure 14, and because you are going to be folding into 4, you make it twice, that is 28. So your fabric will be 28 by 28. That is how you are going to get your fabric. That is how you are going to know what to cut out. 28 on this side, 28, and then on this side you also measure 28, so that by the time you want to fold, first of all fold into 2, I don't want to waste this fabric, so I'll just show you here. Okay, so this one will be enough. So you're going to have something like this. So this is the part that we need. This is the part we need. Let's measure and see. From here to here we have 40.5, so it's enough. And then from here to this edge here we have 15.5, so it will be enough. So what we are making use of is just this square here. That's what we are making use of, and it's into 4. It's folded into 4. Here is 2 parts, and here is also 2 parts. So from what we have calculated, if you are going to mark the radius from what we have calculated, we said we should use 5.75. So you mark from here, you mark 5.75. Sorry, let me get a chalk. So from here you mark 5.75 like this. You also mark it here 5.75. Then with the tape still at this corner, you mark 5.75 rounds. So that by the time this place is where you are going to be cutting. So by the time you now measure here, it should give you the waist circumference. Okay, here we have 9.2. So 18.5, which is 37. You see, and our waist is 36. So this is just enough, because you will be having your allowance, your sewing allowance, the zipper allowance. So this is just perfect. So you see 5.75 is just perfect. If you don't allow, if you use 5.5 for example, you are going to have something like this. When you are putting your tape, it goes in a curved manner. That is why we mark this. And that will be exactly 34. So if you use 5.5, you're going to get exactly 34. But we want allowance for our zipper. So 5.75 is just perfect. So after you have marked the 5.75 like this, the next thing is to now mark the length of flare, which is 8. Now place it like this, mark 8. From here, you place it again, you mark 8. 8. So this is where you are going to cut. You see, that is the essence of the calculation, so that you don't have to waste your fabric. I'll just make use of this place. At the end of the day, I'll just cut here, and I'll also cut here. So that is how to fold the full circle. But to fold the half circle, your fabric is straight like this, if you want to fold the half circle, first of all fold it into 2. You see what I'm doing? First of all fold it into 2 like this, and then you now place it, now fold again into 2. It will now be in a triangle form. Hope it's clear. First of all, into 2, look at it straight. First of all, you fold into 2. Fold it into 2. Place it on your table. And then take these 2 ends and fold it in a triangle form to this side, like this. Trying to make the fabric to level, so it will be in a triangle form like this. So that is the difference. Whereas the full circle will be in a square form, but the half circle will be in a triangular form, and then the radius is longer. The radius of the half circle is longer than the full circle. From our calculation, our radius was for the full circle was 5.73, but for the half circle the radius is 11.5. So it has, from this corner you mark 11.5 here first, and then you also mark 11.5 this way, and then with your tape still at that corner, just be moving your tape and be marking so that you can have a round shape. So from here like this, so that by the time you now measure here, it should give you the waist. You see that it gave us 9, 18, and then 36. So you have extra to use for the zipper allowance. Do you see that? So from here now, you can now measure. You can now measure the length of flare from these ways that you have marked. From there, you can now measure the length of flare. The length of flare 8. You mark it 8. You mark 8. 8. 8. And one more thing, when after marking your 8 inches, before you cut, remember to add your allowance, because you are going to use ½ inch to join this flare to the upper bodies, and then you are going to be turning it down with a lining, so you need like 1 inch allowance. So instead of 8, you can now mark 9. So when you are cutting, you now cut from here and you cut from here. So that is the difference between the 360-degree flare and the 180-degree flare. In our next class, we'll be using the pattern paper to cut it out so that we can actually see the difference. Thank you very much for watching to the end of this video. If you have not subscribed yet to my channel, please support this channel by subscribing. Okay, thank you. And if you're a returning subscriber, you are welcome. Thank you for your great support. I really appreciate it.